Well, at long last, we get to have some scotch with a special guest. You'll never guess who it is. Greetings, my name is Brian. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. I will spare no time with this. I know why you're here. You know why I'm here. You, I, whatever. I am going to bring the man himself, who you are here for, Aqvavitae, Mr. Roy. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, buddy. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing as well as I can be, as always. We get to have whiskey. I'm doing great.
Nice to be here. Sorry, I just had to mute my own screen there.
Oh, I love doing that.
It's nice to be back, Brian. It's nice to be back. We're trying to work out how many times I've been on in the past, and I think you.
Oh, I hear you.
Sorry.
I hear you somehow. Oh, I know how. Never mind. Wait. Technical difficulties, because I am hearing you. Everything else should be fine.
Okay. So does that mean people can't hear me? That's probably a good thing.
Huh. Oh, I know. Hold on. The thing I didn't turn off. I had a tab open for the actual stream, so I was hearing the stream, which I do not want to do.
Okay. Are we good?
I think so.
We're live. Good.
It's one of those things you only find out after you push the go live button. It's like,
always. It's really tricky. Anybody that's ever tried to run a multi-screen type live setup thing, it's really confusing.
This is why I only do guests, like just you and me, because anything else would be way too complicated.
Yeah. It's tricky. It gets tricky when there's lots of feeds. Anyway, I think I was saying, I don't know if anyone could hear or not, but we were trying to work out how many times I've got to hang out with you on your channel, and we worked out this is the third time. So it's nice to be back again. It's nice to be back. And I appreciate you going out a wee bit earlier than usual to accommodate me. I've got the school run in the morning, so I don't mind staying up a wee bit late, but I can get to sleep at a reasonable time. It's nice to be here. It's nice to have familiar faces in too.
I know chat's going by fast already. I'm going, oh god. Zenbu's here, was here. Blackfriend, hello, welcome. Rob Smith, hello, welcome. Sugar Kitty, hello, welcome. Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounge, hello, welcome. All these people I know, it's weird seeing so many people at once. Isaiah, hello. I don't think I missed. Angry Butler, hello. Danny Keenan, hello, welcome. Four Leaf Whiskey, hello. Thank you for popping in. Four Leaf is usually, if not already, going live at 6 p.m. And I already told her, I was like, I got to do a thing. And she was cool with it. I don't know if she's going live or not, actually. But she did pop in to say hello, which is awesome. Aqvavitae bottle put in. Yes, I had a favorite. Danny Keenan has a favorite out of your bottles.
Yes, I mean, I think now it's. I'll give you an exclusive tonight. I also have a favorite, and since they've long sold out, I can probably share what my favorite is after spending a long time with them. So we can do that towards the end of tonight's stream. I can, in case it's not obvious what my favorite is.
All right. Well. Oh, did she not go live? Stacy didn't. Thank you very much. She didn't have to do that. Okay. Pop. More foil. All right, which one do you think I should pour first? And make sure I don't pour the wrong one because it's confusing.
So we're just going straight in. We just going straight into the uncorking, yeah. So let me get this right. We've got the two Aqvavitae Ardnamurchans from last year, cask 411 and 413, and you've had them for a year. You've had them since last year.
Oh.
Well, maybe not a year, maybe 9 or 10 months, right? So you've had them a long time, and this is the first. All you've done in front of me tonight is tear off those little foil strips, right?
Yep.
So what I suggest is that you get two matching glasses.
Matching?
Yeah, everything has to be the same. I have taken great care to make sure that, I mean, two Glencairns, two to whatever that you have.
Good.
To.
That I can do. I have one that's got your logo on it with Aqvavitae, and then I have a
Oh,
whiskey tribe one.
superb.
Helps me keep
Superb.
track without having to do anything else to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've taken great care to try and make sure that these two bottles, these two single casks, were as similar as they could possibly be, because the whiskey does not want to be the same. You'll see in a second. So I think what's a nice thing to do, I've got my bottles here, but these are almost empty. So if you've got, I don't know, maybe a piece of white paper or something light that you can hold behind, you see on the side, they've got little sights that you can see through the bottle.
Oh.
And you will be able to show us the difference in color with yours, because you won't be able to see mine. But truth be told, I do have a full bottle, so there's how pale gold cask 413 is. And let me grab a full bottle of the other one.
Oh, whoa, hey. There's a slight difference.
Yeah. And there's the other one. You can see it's dark copper.
Yeah, I just did that to this one, and it was a big surprise.
And the other one is kind of a pale gold.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's
what the heck those are for.
Before you've even uncorked them. You can see that in the bottle through the really cool little sight windows that the Ardnamurchan single cask bottlings have. Mm-hmm. So the crazy thing here is that, well, while you pour a wee dram of each, will I share the story with everyone?
Do it.
There's going to be quite a few people in here that know the story, but hopefully it's worth telling again.
It's a good story.
Back in 2021, my friend Sevi and myself, we went up to Ardnamurchan to do a VPub live on location. And as part of the whole thing, it was the first time I'd ever visited Ardnamurchan, so we spent the day doing like a proper tour and getting a look around everything. And it just so happened to be at the same time that they were taking samples and things for various projects that they were working on. So we got, their timing was great. We got to tag along and witness some of that going on where they were doing active cask sampling. So before we went to kind of look at some of the really terrific things that they were doing with Golden Promise barley, with Madeira casks and all sorts of PX sherry and Oloroso sherry and all of these amazing things, there was a kind of a small cask, and I really love, I've got a friend, Doogie, who calls these hogsheads, they're not very pretty casks to look at. They look like dug up potatoes. Jeez. And that's exactly what they look like, these kind of grubby cask that's been around for a long time. A refill cask just lying on the floor, and nobody realized why it was in that particular location. So they popped it open and they sampled it, and they put it in the little sample bucket as they're walking along. But as they do that, they pour some into a glass like this. It was exactly like this. It was this. These are the glasses that they use there at Ardnamurchan. These are the Spiegelau Schnifter glasses. Anyway, we're walking through the warehouse, and we eventually were holding like a bunch of sample glasses like this. We've got them all in our hands, and we're just trying to keep track of what we're sipping. And we get to try these really kind of resplendent, big, rich, bold flavors, very kind of cask-driven flavors a lot of the time from these really rich casks, PX casks, Madeira casks, all of these kind of things. And this little refill was probably about this color, very, very pale. It's just kind of sitting in my hands. And as everyone's standing around in a circle, kind of appraising and sharing the different whiskies that we're pouring, I went off and sat down in a corner on a little cask. Because
I've seen that picture.
Sorry?
You've seen the picture where you had, and you're just like, oh, so good.
Well, that was Sevi came along and said, what are you doing? And I said, it's just, he took a picture at that time, and I said, it's just this. It's this refill cask. And it's just, all the things I love about Ardnamurchan were on display. You know, the minerality, the really kind of fresh salinity, the outdoorsiness of it. But because it was unpeated, and from a refill cask, that side of Ardnamurchan was just allowed to shine. And what it also betrayed was a lot of lovely stone fruit and a slight kind of tropical nature to it. And I just fell in love with it. And I said, this is gorgeous. And I passed it around the group of people that were all in the warehouse that day, the Ardnamurchan team. And the owner happened to be there, Alex Bruce, the managing director.
What are you guys doing? Oh, nothing.
No, he was part of the team we were doing it together. Yeah, it was. And he asked that it be marked for special interest. We all loved it. It was just very, very good. Anyway, we enjoyed our time. We did a tour of the distillery and everything, had a fantastic time. We had some dinner, and then we turned up to do the live stream from the distillery that night. And it went okay. Technical hitches, of course. Huge technical hitches. Lots of battles when you do... Sorry?
It's a joy, like specifically from a different location.
Oh, it's just... there's every time you learn something new that can catch you out. Anyway, the stream went okay. We had a great time. It was a good night. And the next day, I just happened to find myself in the car again with Alex. And I explained to him the trouble I was having trying to source a cask for the community. And that once I started to get offered the same cask from two different sources at two different prices, I realized I was too far from the proper source. Would he be interested in working with me to pick a cask for the community? And he immediately said yes. I was very, very pleased. He said on two conditions: that we pick it together and that you're patient and that you can wait some time because there's a long list. I said, patience is not a problem. We can most certainly wait. And in terms of picking the cask together, perhaps that's already been done. And he looked and said, oh, the refill cask from yesterday? I said, yes. He said, good choice, excellent. So I asked the team to sample the cask for me and to send it down to me, and we could start work, and I would wait until they were quite ready. What transpired is that cask was obviously in its location. It had been picked for something else. It was someone else's cask, or it was headed off to be part of a blend or something else, because the cask was never to be seen or traced again. It was just, it was almost like it was an apparition, right? That we made it up. If I hadn't been there with other people, I would have started to doubt myself. But we started to sample casks and things. And what I realized is that I need a story. I need a connection with the pick. So instead of kind of doing it remotely and from sample bottles, I decided to go back up to the magical place that is the peninsula up on the west coast and go through the process again. And we did a very similar thing. We were going to all these really cool casks, these interesting casks and things. And I said, no, I want, where are the refill casks? Where are the hogsheads? Where are the casks that have been used multiple times before? Can we see those, please? And if we are going to look at those, is there any way we could look at unpeated? Because Ardnamurchan make peated and unpeated spirit. So we found this big stow of pale green painted on the ends, they were all bright green hogsheads. And it was Connell, global sales manager for Ardnamurchan at the time, climbed up on top of this stow and just started randomly kind of or opening up these casks, just taking the bung out of these casks and just dipping and pouring, and just because he hadn't touched these since they'd been laid down. So it tells you on the bottle when this was laid down. So this is 0416, so it's April 2016, and these hadn't been touched. So we were there in 2023, 7 years later, and they hadn't been checked or sampled. Refill casks, right?
It's like they just sat there.
They were just waiting. And it was astonishing. Every single sample that came out of every single hogshead was completely different. And I'm not even just talking about aroma and flavour and things. They were clearly different getting poured into the glass and into the little bottles because the colour of each one was different. It kind of reminded me of kind of fruit sweets or something, a rainbow of kind of colour and flavour as we're going through, taken from all of these. And when I tell you that these 2 drams I have in the glass right now, they are not the Ardnamurchans, but the colour differences between some of the selections were this extreme. It was amazing to all of us. We were just blown away by every time we tried a new sample. I realised very, very quickly, not only is this what I wanted to pick from this store? But I realized it was going to be very difficult to choose. In the end, we sat and we took a lot of kind of samples back. We went back to the accommodation and we sat around this big table and kind of sat quietly trying the different samples to work out what could happen. I already had an idea in my mind, and instead of asking for a single cask, I just played my hand. I don't know how I got away with this, but they agreed to it. I just said, look, I've got this idea. I want to talk about refill casks. I want to talk about how spectacularly different they are, despite the fact that on paper they look the same. So the two casks I picked, 411 and 413, if you were to look at a stock list of those, they would both say 2016 filled, April. The filling date and the filling time are identical. The casks were filled at the exact same moment. They were rolled into the same point in the warehouse, and they were put in the same store next to each other and left there for the exact same amount of time. And refill
next to each other?
Right next to each other, right next to each other. There was one cask 412, was in between the two of them.
That's fine.
But other than that, everything is identical. We sampled on the exact same day, and in the end, when we picked the two casks and we bottled them, they got bottled on the same day at the same ABV. So everything on paper about these two bottles are absolutely identical. Have you got yours in the glass already?
I do.
Well, congratulations on finally getting them open, buddy.
Yeah.
So
they seem much happier now.
Yeah. This is 411.
Yep.
You see the color of that kind of rich, those rich copper tones.
Yeah.
And then 413. Now I don't know, there's maybe nothing in this. I might be having to open something tonight. Wow. So little. Oh no, there's a dram in there.
Bottle down.
But that's it. That's that bottle killed.
Many men.
It's a pleasure as your opening one. I'm killing one off. But would you look at the difference in those? The colours and the difference between the two. It's just remarkable how different they are, right? You can even see it a wee bit more pronounced than yours. Those whiskies are both unpeated, so there's no smoke blanket going on here. It's the purest take on Ardnamurchan spirit, I would argue, potentially. Everything is identical about the two, and the only thing that differentiates these to give them this different colour is whatever mysterious liquid was in that refill cask before it was filled with Ardnamurchan. Now, we just simply call it a refill cask. We don't specify more than that, and I think that's a shame, because what we're actually talking about in this instance is ex-Scotch whiskey casks.
Oh.
So whatever kind of Scotch whiskey was in there beforehand, let's imagine it was, I don't know, 20-year-old, 30-year-old Bunnahabhain. It's because these are Adelphi casks. They bottle very, very good things. We could go back to 2016, I suppose, and see what Adelphi bottled in the early part of that year, and we could guess what the previous liquid might have been.
Because they don't want to tell you.
They don't know, because they don't trade. Once they disgorge the cask and bottle it, the cask is, as long as the cask is still a good cask, it's put back into use, and in this case, it was put back into use for Ardnamurchan. So we don't know. The truth is, we don't know. We can guess. We can take blind stabs in the dark. What was the previous incumbent? But I think the real pleasure is in just enjoying how that previous incumbent has changed and affected this whiskey so much, right?
Yes.
So anyway, cheers to you. Let's go with the paler one first, cask 413, and see if the nose gives up anything for you.
All I can think about is the one on the left, or the darker one, makes me think of bourbon, and this one makes me think of Irish whiskey or Scotch.
Because of the color.
Whoa. Oh, what was that? Oh, that was weird. And good weird. Like, there was a flash of some kind of memory right away.
Well, I've got... I've had quite a lot of time with these now. And I enjoy nosing this little 413 cask. You don't you have Starburst, right? Candy.
Yes. Well, they're called Starburst here, but they might be something different.
Well, they used to be called Opal Fruits here, a long time ago, but they're called Starburst now. But this reminds me specifically of Lime Starburst, the green one. And I had a pal nosing this the very first night I had them, and he picked out the most obvious fruit that's become synonymous with this dram, and it's kiwi.
Oh,
So we're getting a lot of green fruits. I don't know if you're getting kiwi from this, but it's certainly it's kiwi. So some melon too. Some green apple skin.
what's weird is at first I got butterscotch, and now it's calmed down a little. And I do
Yeah,
get,
there's a
like,
vanilla note.
weird green fruits and citrus stuff.
It's just, and what happens with this whiskey, the longer that you sit, the longer that you wait. I forgot to pour myself some water. I might have to go and do that.
Right.
Oh, I thought I did. I've probably just left it in the kitchen.
Probably.
The longer you sit with it, the more it kind of switches up on you. This is going to be interesting that this is the last dram the bottle's going to give up and see how it goes. Cheers.
Cheers. Wow.
Viscous, thick, oily,
Yeah.
salty. No peat smoke, of course, but there's a saltiness, a salinity here. You getting any salt?
I get a little spice, honestly.
ABV? Or
Yeah, probably. I get this. I
Pepper.
keep calling it like prickles or tongue tinglers, or it feels like
Yep.
little sharp feelings in my tongue, which I assume
yeah,
is alcohol.
absolutely. Yeah.
Little needles. That doesn't sound
Yep.
pleasant.
I'm just so pleased with it. I'm pleased at how it's changed and how it's kind of how I've come to. It's really kind of warm, fuzzy feels that I get every time I go back to it now. So then there's the darker one, our copper cask 411, 55%, filled on the same day, matured for the exact same amount of years, days. Bottles filled on the exact same day, bottled on the same day, same ABV. And it noses like a different galaxy.
What? Yeah, that one jumped out of the glass. This one feels like it's hiding in it. It's like, no.
Well, it's going to open up because this one, when I first nosed and tasted them, it was like the paler one for me was like springtime, and this one was autumnal. And of course, we're going a lot on color and things here, but when you nose it, there is a kind of mulch note to this. Roasted hazelnut, roasted chestnut, maybe. You're drawn to kind of darker themes, I think.
Yeah, I had the mental thing where it's like, why does this one feel heavier?
Yeah.
Did I pour more in it? Probably.
You know, some kind of burnt orange, charred orange.
Maybe think of walnuts.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And that's just as good as I've ever tasted it tonight. It's much drier, I think. Especially in the finish. There's a real,
Yeah.
it goes to a
I
real
was like,
dryness.
not yet, but yeah, it started to get dry right near the end.
Yep. Whereas there's a kind of juiciness to the other one. This one's kind of got
Yeah.
it. So what we're able to compare here, any difference that we find between these two whiskies can only be the cask influence, which is super interesting.
Yeah, but it does make you wonder. It's like, what were those casks anyway? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Well, and if they do know, if the people at Adelphi do know, they're not interested in sharing it with me. So, you know, there
That's
might
fine.
be
It's part
reasons
of the
or
mystery.
issues there. And they don't want, maybe if they did, I would be going around telling the world what the previous incumbents were and trying to sell the whiskey based on that rather than selling it on the fact that it's beautiful, pretty Ardnamurchan, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. The truth is that I'm beyond it now. I'm not really that. I don't know. If somebody said, "Oh, I found out what was in those previous casks," I think I would probably want to know. But I'm kind of over it now. I'm just enjoying the two of them for what they are. I think they're lovely things. These were not cheap, Brian, as you know. You shipped them over to the States as well. Probably the most expensive whiskey purchase for you. I don't know, but one of them.
Probably very close. I'm trying to think of anything else that I did that with. There's not. No, there's nothing like that. It's mostly just shipping though. Like the cost of the bottles was what you'd expect from a private pick anywhere, and then just the shipping. The overseas thing was brutal. I remember that much.
I can imagine. I really appreciate it that you picked them up.
How could I not?
I know. And as you know, I'm not going to. The bottle picks and things from me for my community are not going to be every month. They're going to be very occasional things. So, yeah, I feel very, very lucky, very privileged and things, and just the kudos that surrounds Ardnamurchan. For me to be able to participate in that is good fun. But they allowed me so much autonomy to do the things that meant something to me. They sanctioned the picks, of course they did. They feel confident in their product, but otherwise, they just let me go with this. Me asking for 2 casks was very, very cheeky, and it was a very difficult thing for them to agree to, but they loved the concept of it.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's nice that they understood why you wanted to do it. You weren't just like, you weren't being snooty about it. You were like, no, this is a thing, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, well, I wanted the contrast in the glass. I wanted them to be
It's wild.
I wanted them to be poured like this, so that people would sit backwards and forwards. You've sipped them both now, right?
Yeah. I'll do it again.
And hanging out with somebody like yourself, Brian, and being able to sip these we're shrinking the ocean right now. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Sipping the exact same whiskies at the exact same time. It's a rare thing.
Well, what's funny to me is just thinking about, of course, I have a memory, you have a memory, of when I got to try your Loch Lomond pick in Texas at La Quinta in a plastic, like a paper cup.
Well, there were glasses available. I think you must have been
Everyone else had a
comfortable.
glass. I didn't. I need to work on that. Irene Tan also told me,
Yeah.
always have a glass with you. It's like, all right.
Always be carrying a glass. That was the quickest bottle of whiskey I've ever seen rinsed anywhere in my life. I was standing with you and Leanne and 1 or 2 others, I think, in the hotel reception, and I pulled out the bottle to say, hey, this is still sealed. Let's get it open and try it. And as the word got out what I was pouring, all these glasses just appeared from everywhere, right? And again, it was one of these really amazing shared experiences where you got that bottle open, and I don't think it lasted 10 minutes from
I'm just
crack
glad I got
to
there in
last.
time. It could have been gone.
Yeah,
I
from
was
crack to
probably
last pour.
yeah. I was in the vault pouring stuff because psalm stuff. That's what you do when you go to the ball. You get to go to the vault and pour for. I think it's all the people who are pouring for the event, like all the distillers and all the people who are there pouring. They go up to the vault afterwards, and I get to go up there because I get to pour for them. Basically, that's what I'm there for.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it back, and I think you gave me the bottle, that special Scotch bottle, about something. Where is it? You would think it stands out, but I've moved these so many times.
What did I give you?
You gave me a bottle of, like a regular bottle of Scotch, except it had the Borderlands character on it. It was supposed to be Moxie's.
Ah, the Ballantines. Yes.
Valentine, yes, that.
Yes.
I certainly have it.
Yeah. I mealed it over for you. That's right. Yes.
Where did I put it? I'm not even gonna try. Because if I do, that's all I'll do for the next 30 minutes.
I remember now. I remember.
Yes.
So
That was just funny. Like, basically, oh wait, who? Oh god, I can't remember his name or his channel. Why? No nonsense.
Vin?
Vin,
Yes.
he
No
gave you a
nonsense.
bottle. He got the bottle for me, and then you got the bottle from him, and then you brought it over the ocean, and then you gave it to me. It was
That's how the meal network works, right?
Yep, it was funny. I don't think they would ship it. Like that was the real problem about it. Was they just didn't ship over us because I think it had been released in the United States and I missed it, and then I saw it was being done over there and I got the bottle, and then magically got it over here through the water of life brought it to me. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Usually it's I take an extra case when I travel over for the gifts, and then obviously to bring some of the gifts back. It's always a heavy suitcase coming home as well. It's good fun.
Only once, and I was so mad. Where I had gone to Crowded Barrel last year. I think it was for the Bastard Ball last year, I think. And I had bottles to pick up, and it was like 10 bottles, which is like, oh, I didn't realize I had gotten that many over the course of like a year and a half.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, hello. Sorry, you get to see Stitch now. Something just happened, but I forget what. I think a subscriber. I think that's subscriber. Welcome,
Thanks.
subscriber. I missed the name. Ted is my name. Excellent. That's literally his screen name. Oh, that's funny. Welcome. Good God. It's hilarious. Well, I think I have a favorite. And I know why.
Yes. Yes. You share your favorite first.
It's this one, weirdly enough.
The pale one.
Yeah.
Well, in my experience, most people have preferred the darker one. But and it's interesting that you mentioned yours is a wee bit quiet tonight. I think it will open up.
Yeah.
But it tends to be the most kind of flavor hook, the most obvious.
Yeah, like I said, this one feels dense.
Yeah.
Actually, the first one kind of makes me think of the Loch Lomond pick. That's probably why.
Yeah, the freshness, the lightness, kind of my style of whiskey, the thing that I would prefer. But 413 has become my firm favourite. It was my favourite at the start. I went through a little moment in the middle of the bottle as I was enjoying them that I started to get drawn to the kind of darker one. Really enjoying some of the kind of, spice notes and wintry notes in it. But I always come back to this. The purity of it, how clean it is, how delicate it is at the same time as being quite potent and oily and thick.
Yeah, that's it. The second it touched my tongue, I'm very texture oriented. So as soon as I felt the texture of that, I was like, oh yeah, this is the stuff. I get that with Irish whiskeys a lot. Like if it's the one I like, it's always texture. Same with bourbon. Same with all of them. Something about the texture of it.
I think what's interesting for me is that texture's always been a thing for me too, absolutely. But I think what it shows is that I don't know if these are appreciably different in terms of oiliness or weight or body. I think they're both almost identical, but the way that the way the flavors play on your palate makes you think that the paler one is a little bit more viscous. I think there's a bit of fat about the paler one, whereas this feels a little bit more kind of spiced and brittle, I would say. And I think it makes
the darker one made me think of mocha, and I think some kind of dark baked goods. I don't want to say brownies because that's not quite what it was. Maybe like tiramisu, something like that.
Get it. I get it completely. Yeah, tiramisu's a good call. Yeah, you've got that kind of that powdered cocoa, that maybe even a chocolatey note as well. A little bit of chili, I think, just as it's kind of disappearing. And nice. Now that you've got them open,
Drink them all.
maybe not in the live stream, right? Maybe.
No, I want to share them. That's part of the thing. I can share these now. That's going to be great. Because I know not everyone can get the bottles. Especially being on the other side of the water.
Yeah, but you'll be able to consider whether it was worth it, whether it was worth the investment, you know.
Of course it was.
There are new. I'm not on here to sell anything, right? But there are new. There's a new Loch Lomond release. Actually, two Loch Lomond releases. You know about them, don't you? Coming out this year. So the one that you got to try in La Quinta, the sister cask of that is coming out, but it's
nice.
2 years. It's 2 years older. So I bottled cask 735. So we're going to bottle 736. And that's quite fun because it's the exact same, the sister product, just 2 years older. And also what we're going to bottle is, when I was first picking that cask back in 2022, the master blender, Michael Henry at Loch Lomond, had picked his favourite. But I didn't want to know what it was, so he sealed it in an envelope and waited until I'd made my pick before I opened that envelope to discover what was this. And obviously I hoped that we would have picked the same thing. But no, he picked his, which ended up being my second favourite. And his second pick was my favourite. So we went with mine, we went with my pick, and on a recent visit last year to Loch Lomond, I asked what had happened to that second pick, the one I didn't go with, and he had a sample on hand, and we got to try it again. So I spent the next few weeks pestering to ask if he would allow me.
Hey.
Yeah, is there any chance? Is there any chance? But obviously there are lots and lots of people out there that are way ahead in the priority queue than little old Aqvavitae, the YouTuber, right? So we had
World
to
famous.
You had to go through you had to go through all the kind of rigmarole of getting the okay and the approval. Does it fit with their business profile and strategies and goodness knows what else and things like that? In the end, they came through and said, yes, we like the idea. Let's go ahead. So later this year, in fact, it's bottled. We're now waiting on labels. The 12-year-old is this one, and the 14-year-old is this one. So this is this is first fill bourbon, 12-year-old, and this one is refill bourbon, 14 years old.
Oh, nice.
So now we've got this really interesting kind of backwards and forwards here, where the spirit is very, very similar, almost the same, but from first fill and from refill. So I get to play that same game, right? The same. Now, okay, there's a couple of years difference in terms of distillation with that one, but it's still a kind of fun experiment. And both of those casks are very much connected with me in Loch Lomond already because of the first release. So it's going to be another fun one.
So good. It was so good.
The first one was so good, absolutely so good. And listen, it was unanimous. I've yet to meet someone that said that Loch Lomond, 10 years old, it was bottled in 2022, was anything other than a blinder. In fact, a lot of people blame their current obsession with Loch Lomond releases on that release.
Yeah,
you know,
I definitely
they're
bought one
going
of
crazy
their
for it.
12 years, like just to see what else they had, and I was like, this is not what I expected because yours was so drastically different.
Yeah, it is different. There's some Chardonnay yeast used in what made my product, and some of the releases that's come out from Loch Lomond recently have been the same profile, and it's just a fantastic whiskey, just so fizzy, so bright, so fruity. Again, an absolute privilege. So I'm working with other people to bottle from them too, but you have to go with what's ready, what's available to you at the right time. So Sugar Kitty saying 413 is like Glencadam and Middleton had a baby. Brilliant. A Highland married to an Irish. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. I'm thinking it's the V-pub. Yeah, nice Sugar Kitty.
We're having some technical stuff on the YouTube end. I don't know why.
Yeah. Is it working okay?
Oh. Usually not a problem. YouTube hates me, though. It's all right, we'll keep going. I mean, I can't really fix it.
Mama KillCo is saying that she's lost the audio.
Yeah. It's giving me a poor stream status poor, and I'm going, what do I do? Of course, there's no answers.
Well, connection?
Probably. I mean, it is YouTube. Let me see.
I shall stay quiet for a moment and let you work on it.
But these are delicious. I mean, that's the best part about it. Now, of course, I was concerned that I wouldn't like it.
So lucky to have Ardnamurchan.
25, 24
Yeah.
days
It's
in a
intense.
row
Yeah.
doing a live stream, even if it's a short one, and sipping on whiskey. Which is not a bad thing, but it is a bit draining. It's like going to work every day almost.
It's intense. And there's a huge temptation to do things like that for Advent, and you're getting excited about the holidays and everything. But it's, I think they've just, did you kill the stream?
No, I didn't. But I'm looking. It's just being laggy. There's nothing I can do about it. Which sucks.
No, I think it's just died.
Did it?
Yeah.
Let's find out. Oh, weird. Cool. Thanks, YouTube.
Yeah. I think YouTube saw probably the really weak upload and put a parachute on it.
Oh,
This is why StreamYard is so good.
Well, I don't even know if it's that.